I've been through harder moments. So, things like this I just love. And this is a game I love. So I never want to stop playing. I love it.
What if I told you that a zero-star recruit who couldn't even get a single college offer now leads the entire NFL in sacks? That a kid from a forgotten town in South Carolina who once worked the grill at Burger King and stocked shelves at Dollar General somehow fought his way into becoming a main piece of the Los Angeles Rams team?
Byron Young is going to get credit for that strip sack recovered by Landry.
Yeah, that's what I do. That's what I do.
This is the story of a man who refused to quit when everyone else would have. A man who saw one flyer on a bulletin board and turned it into a ticket to the NFL. His name is Byron Young, but around the league, they call him Agent Zero.
Agent Zero back for more in his second campaign.
Byron Young grew up in Georgetown, South Carolina, a quiet low-country town where the air smells like saltwater and pine. Population barely 9,000. He was the youngest of 13 children, always chasing someone faster, stronger, louder, and his father had a rule. You're not going to football practice unless you hit a half-court shot.
He always just used to do that because he knew we wouldn't make the shot. But I felt like that was his way of saying, he felt like we was too young to play football.
When his dad finally let him strap on the pads, Byron went all in.
We clocking it early. We clocking it early. We clocking it early. We clocking it early.
At Carvers Bay High School, he was the fastest player on the team, returning kicks, crushing plays off the edge. But while his highlight tape looked like a ticket out, his grades told another story. He was labeled a non-qualifier, ineligible for Division I football. No recruiters called, no scholarships came. His dream froze in place. Still refusing to give up, Byron found a small prep school in Alabama called Gulf Coast Prep Sports Academy, his last shot. But after just 2 games, the school collapsed. No team, no program, no film, nothing.
Got my first job at Burger King. I love the job just because I was working and getting paid, and I love that. So I cherish that type of job.
18 months later, Byron wasn't studying game film. He was flipping burgers. He moved to Columbus, Georgia, took a job at Burger King, and later a second job at Dollar General just to keep the lights on.
Left Burger King and started working at Dollar General full time.
The kid who once chased quarterbacks was now chasing double shifts. I was a great employee, he said later, but football was always on my mind.
Like one of them things, like I didn't really know where to start. I was trying to just see, I didn't know where to go, so.
Every morning began the same. Unlock the doors, flip the sign, stock the shelves, until one morning changed everything. A new flyer hung on the bulletin board. Open tryouts. Georgia Military College football team. His heart started racing. He called the number. The next day, he drove 2 hours to Milledgeville. 150 players showed up. Byron wasn't supposed to stand out, but he did. He made the team that day. From a Dollar General aisle to a college football field, the dream was alive again. And this time, he wasn't letting it slip away.
Just trying to find ways to get back into it. And I seen a flyer for GMC. Just came down here and tried out.
When Byron Young showed up at Georgia Military College, he wasn't a recruit. He wasn't a walk-on. He was a man chasing something he refused to let die.
Honestly, if I didn't go here, I wouldn't be nowhere else.
His first year back in pads was pure chaos. 11 games, 7 sacks, 11 tackles for loss, and a motor that never shut off. He wasn't just hungry, he was starving. And that hunger turned heads. He went from being a Dollar General assistant manager to the number 1 junior college defensive end in the nation, ranked top 10 among all junior college players. But right when everything started clicking, the world stopped. No games, no scouts, no spotlight. Byron went back to work, not to train, to survive. He got a night job at Circle K, working graveyard shifts after practice just to cover tuition. He'd finish drills at sunset, clock in by 9, and watch the clock crawl toward morning while the dream tried to slip away again. I honestly didn't know what to do, but my mama told me to keep doing what I was doing. Somebody would be watching.
If I got a job, I'm gonna do it, no matter what it is.
So he made his own highlight reel from 2 scrimmages, cut the clips together, and sent them to every college coach he could find, 1 DM at a time. One Hail Mary after another. Weeks passed. Nothing. Then, a reply. Then, another. South Alabama, Old Dominion, and finally, Tennessee. A virtual campus tour later, he knew it was home. A Power 5 program, the kind of stage he had dreamed of since he was a kid in Georgetown.
Because I know where I came from, like where I came from, I know I'd rather be here than where I was. Where I was, just working, not doing anything. I'd rather be here.
At Tennessee, Byron transformed. He packed on 30 pounds of muscle, from 218 to 245, and exploded onto the SEC scene. In just 2 seasons, he posted 83 tackles, 23.5 tackles for loss, and 12.5 sacks, earning all SEC first-team honors and a ticket to the 2023 Senior Bowl. He wasn't just back, he was dominating. And then came the moment that changed everything again, the NFL Combine. He ran a 4.4 340-yard dash, the second fastest for any edge, top 5 in the vertical, top 5 in agility. Numbers that made scouts look twice, but Byron still wasn't satisfied.
The moment was getting to me a little bit, especially with my first run. Still great numbers, but I definitely was disappointed.
So before his pro day, he went back to Georgia Military, to Dollar General, to Burger King. Not as an employee, but as a reminder. He told the kids, stocking shelves and flipping burgers, the same thing he told himself every night before bed. When no one's watching, just put your head down and keep grinding. That work was about to pay off. The draft was next, and while Byron didn't know it yet, his story was about to take one more wild turn.
And my agent takes me and said, congratulations. You know, I'm like, what? He said you got drafted to the Raiders. I'm getting happy.
The 2023 NFL Draft. Byron Young sat with his family in their living room, the same people who'd seen him go from Dollar General to dominant SEC defender. The tension was real. He wasn't a projected first-round pick, but everyone in that room knew he'd earned this moment. Pick after pick, team after team, nothing. His name stayed on the board. Then his phone buzzed. It was his agent. Congratulations, Byron. You just got drafted by the Las Vegas Raiders. The room exploded. Cheers, hugs, tears. They'd done it. But before the celebration could even settle, the agent called back.
And he said, oh, never mind. They text the wrong agent. So I'm upset right now.
The Raiders had picked a defensive tackle from Alabama. Same name, different player. Byron and his family just sat there, stunned. The dream that had been seconds from real felt like it had been ripped away. But destiny wasn't done. 7 picks later, the phone rang again. With the 77th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Rams select Byron Young, linebacker, Tennessee.
Hey, Byron. Hey, you ever dreamed of playing in the NFL?
This time, it was real. After years of dead ends and disappointment, the underdog finally had his shot. When the Rams asked what jersey number he wanted, he didn't hesitate. 0. The 0 is a testimony to my story, he said. Coming out, I had 0 stars, 0 offers, 0 chances. I had to do everything on my own. That's why I wear it, to remind myself where I came from. From that day on, teammates didn't just call him Byron. They called him Agent Zero, the man who turned nothing into everything. And it didn't take long for the league to realize that nickname wasn't just for show.
I had to do everything on my own. You know, 0 people supported me, so I wear that 0 for that.
Byron Young didn't just arrive in Los Angeles. He erupted onto the scene. The moment he stepped on the field for the Rams, it was clear this wasn't your average rookie. He moved like a blur off the edge, exploding through offensive lines with the kind of speed that made quarterbacks panic. By the end of his first season, Byron had 8.0 sacks, the second most by a rookie in franchise history, behind only legends like Kobe Turner and Aaron Donald. He wasn't just chasing sacks, he was rewriting expectations. 62 pressures, 23 tackles for loss, and nearly 1,000 snaps. The most by any rookie edge rusher since Next Gen Stats began tracking data. That's not just production, that's obsession.
I got in mind what I want it to look like and at the end of the season, but I definitely am nowhere near there, and I'm still working.
Every week, he got better. Week 6 against the Cardinals, 2 sacks, 10 tackles, and a Pepsi Zero Rookie of the Week award. Week 9, he bulldozed the pocket like a veteran, forcing chaos on every snap. And while rookie phenom Puka Nacua was stealing headlines on offense, Byron was doing the same on defense, proving the Rams didn't just hit on one draft pick. They struck gold twice. By season's end, Agent Zero had earned his badge, voted to the PFWA All-Rookie Team, ranked top 10 in every defensive category among his draft class, and recognized as one of the most relentless young pass rushers in football. But if his first year was about proving he belonged, his second year would show why he might just be the next face of the Rams defense.
We both got that. After we both, come on now, we both got that. And that's how. I give you that.
The Rams doubled down on defense in the next draft, selecting another relentless edge rusher out of Florida State named Jared Verse. From the very first practice, you could feel the energy shift. Two alpha dogs, two motors that never quit, two men who understood struggle and refused to be outworked. They clicked instantly.
He trying to, every time he loses, he trying to find an excuse every time. Every time, bro. Just take the L, bro.
Teammates started calling them the Step Brothers. Not just because of their playful chemistry, but because every time they lined up together, it was pure chaos. Byron crashing from the right, Verse detonating from the left. Quarterbacks didn't stand a chance. And it wasn't just about athleticism, it was about mindset. Both had chips on their shoulders the size of helmets. Byron was the unranked JUCO miracle who made it out of a Dollar General. Jared Verse was the overlooked transfer who had to fight his way into the spotlight. Together, they turned the Rams' pass rush into one of the scariest units in the league.
I think it definitely goes both ways. Like BY will take up a double team, but he'll get the slot and the chip, and I get a free one-on-one. And me and Bo always say, like, hey, if you get that, if I'm taking all this for you, you better win. He knows the same thing. Like he's taking full advantage of, when he gets his one-on-one ops, he gets the tackle on an island, he's gonna take full advantage of it. So it feeds off both of us.
Coaches said it looked like something out of a movie. Two different stories merging into one unstoppable force. When one got double teamed, the other ate. When one got a sack, the other was the first to celebrate. And off the field, they were brothers, constantly pushing each other, clowning on each other, but always locked in on one goal: dominate. We call each other stepbrothers, Byron laughed in an interview, because we fight like brothers, but we hunt together too. And this season, that hunt has turned Byron into something terrifying. Because while Verse has been a perfect complement, Byron has taken his game to a historic level, one that's putting the entire NFL on notice.
I've seen what he's been doing in the offseason, and he deserves every bit, but it's not even, I don't even think he's opened the gate to what he's able to do.
This year, Byron Young isn't just good, he's terrifying. Through the first half of the 2025 season, the kid who once stocked shelves at Dollar General is now leading the entire NFL in sacks. Every snap looks like a highlight reel, a blur of gold and blue exploding through offensive lines before quarterbacks even have time to blink. Commentators can't stop talking about him. Analysts are calling him the next face of the Rams' defense, the heir to Aaron Donald's throne. Fans chant Agent Zero from the stands like it's a superhero name. But what's most impressive isn't the stats, it's the mindset. During the offseason, Byron decided to change everything. Not by lifting heavier weights or running faster, but by mastering something most football players wouldn't dare try: Pilates.
The work that he's put in, and for some reason Pilates is his magic power, he's dominant in every aspect.
That small change turned into a massive leap. His balance improved, his endurance skyrocketed, and his ability to bend around tackles, that signature edge rush that leaves linemen grabbing at air, became nearly unstoppable. Week after week, Byron has wreaked havoc. Multi-sack games, forced fumbles, constant pressure. He's become the anchor of a defense that feeds off his energy. And with every quarterback he buries, the whispers get louder. Defensive Player of the Year. But Byron doesn't chase trophies. He's still chasing the same thing he was back in Georgetown: a reason to keep proving people wrong. Because deep down, he knows what it's like to have 0 stars, 0 offers, and 0 chances. Now, he's showing the world what happens when you turn 0 into everything.
Somebody got paid for what happened in Tennessee yesterday. No, I told you somebody got paid for what happened in Tennessee. I'm gonna make these pay every snap. Somebody got paid for that.
From flipping burgers to flipping quarterbacks. From stocking shelves to stacking sacks. Byron Young has turned every no he ever heard into fuel. He's living proof that your starting point doesn't define your destination. Your grind does. There was a time when he thought football was over, when all he had was a name tag, a minimum wage paycheck, and a dream that felt like it was slipping away. But one flyer, one decision to show up, changed everything.
It was just, something that was, already written, and I'm just thankful that I seen that flyer.
That same kid from Georgetown, South Carolina, the youngest of 13, who couldn't even make a half-court shot just to go to football practice, is now the beating heart of an NFL defense. He's not just playing for himself anymore. He's playing for every person who's ever been counted out, every dreamer working a job they hate, wondering if their shot will ever come.
The 0 is basically, behind my story. It's a testimony to that, coming out I had zero support really.
Byron Young calls himself Agent Zero because he started with nothing. No stars, no scholarships, no promises, just faith, sweat, and a fire that refused to die. And now, he's leading the league in sacks, silencing doubters and inspiring thousands who see themselves in his story. This is the power of betting on yourself. This is the story of Agent Zero, Byron Young.
I can't forget where I came from, and that's a huge part of my journey. So I remember that because I know I don't want to go back there.
If you love seeing underdogs rise to the top, then hit that subscribe button because we've got more journeys coming your way. Drop a comment below with the word Agent Zero to show love to one of the most inspiring players in the NFL today. Because in a league full of stars, it's the one who started with zero that shines the brightest.